Hello and welcome back to the channel. So we've got the second episode in the Trappist Sundays and we've gone for a Dutch beer, Le Trappe. We've done the English Tint Meadow, now we've moved over to Holland and we're doing Le Trappe. Now Le Trappe is part of the abbey known as Koningshoven. Now Koningshoven is translated meaning the king's farmhouses in Dutch. They're basically French monks took refuge there in 1881, and from that day forward we've got the Le Trappe beers. Now, a little bit of brief history from there. 1884 was the establishment of the brewery at this the abbey. 1891 started to build a new brewery. So 1884 was the establishment of the Trappist brewery. Trappists needed a source of income to support themselves and fulfill their charity duties. That's why they decided to brew beer. To this very day, ale is brewed according to the rules of a Trappist within the walls of the abbey. 1891, in order to pay for the construction of an abbey, the monks began building a new brewery. They also built the malt tower, which to this day dominates the view of the brewery. Superb, isn't it? A little bit of history. 1894, building a new abbey. So the construction of the new abbey was paid for by the profits from the ale. Imagine that. They built an abbey from the profits of brewing the ale, which is absolutely fantastic. It really is. All the way then to 1928, the introduction of the Trappe Blond is introduced. A blonde and under fermented ale with 4% alcohol. Now this beer I've got here is called the Le Trappe Trappist Blond, but this isn't 4%, this is 6.5%, and I can see there the yeast is at the bottom as well, so we can definitely get some yeast particles when we pour this beer for sure. Bottle conditioned. 1936, the bottling plant, the brewery began bottling its own ales. The machine could bottle 6,000 bottles per hour. I need one of them. 1949, development of lemonade factory. This is interesting. After the Second World War, the entire brewing world suffered from a shortage of raw materials. The monks even considered closing the brewery. In order to supplement the decrease in income of a brewery, a lemonade factory was established. The soft drinks that were produced were sold under the brand names Ariston and Whist. Interesting, that, isn't it? Here's something else quite interesting. Between 1969 to 1979, they had collaboration with other breweries. Now you're going to know one of these. The brewery grew into a medium-sized brewery with Dark, the Pilsner, the Dortmunder, Super and the Bock beer. Due to increasing demand, the brewery looked to collaborate with Stella Artois. Wow. In 1980, the collaboration with Stella Artois ended and the monks took the brewery process back into their own hands. They introduced to the market a high fermentation ale under the name Le Trappe, the double one. In that same year, the triple was introduced. So 1980 was the first time that the double and the triple were introduced. I've got the double, I've got the triple, I've got the quad, I've got the blonde. I've got quite a few from Le Trappe, but I've decided that I'm going to be tasting the blonde in this video. 1989, modernising the brewery. At the end of 1989, the first ale was produced in the modernised brewery. More than 100 old open yeast fermentation tanks and lager tanks had to be removed for that purpose. Wow. 91, introduction of the Le Trappe's quadruple, which I think that's a 10% beer. I've got that as well. In 1999, there was new beers. In 1999, Le Trappe began collaborating with Bavaria Brewery in Lieshout. A new bottling plant was purchased to ensure the quality of the beers also for the future. And I think to this day, they're still with Bavaria Brewery. I might have a little bit more information in one of my books here. 2003, they introduced the Wit Trappist, which is it's like the Trappist wheat ale. I've not seen that one. I don't know if anyone else has in the comment below if you have. And in 2004 was the Trappe Bock beer. Again, it's another one I've not seen, but it looks absolutely fantastic looking at the bottle there. 2008, new tasting hall. 2009, introduction of Le Trappe Oak Age program. So they're getting the oak age barrels in 2009. And then also Le Trappe Isidore. I've got that one. I've got that beer to try. That looks like a nice colour as well, that one. And then 2010, introduction of Le Trappe Pure, which is the brewery introduced Le Trappe Pure, a fresh, hoppy, light flavoured Trappist ale, 4.7%. I've not seen that one, and it's not got the same sort of style labels as what we see on the other bottles as well. Then goes to 2020, Le Trappe Pure again. The brewers have optimised our organic Trappist ale, Le Trappe Pure. Unique characteristics such as a complete organic character and corresponding SCAL certification have been retained, but the taste and shelf life have been improved. And then that looks a little bit more like I'm seeing now, that Trappist beer. So that's just a bit of a history there of Le Trappe. I've got a little bit in here. It says here that in 1999, the brewery in the grounds of the Brooding Abbey of Koningshoven was expelled from the International Trappist Association when it was bought by the Bavaria Group, a large Dutch company that specialises in own-label beers for supermarkets. The brewery continued to call its beer Le Trappe and lobbied quietly to be allowed back in the association. In 2006, the abbot, Brother Bernados, made it clear that he was in overall charge of the brewery and that Bavaria and its employees worked to the guidelines laid down by the monks. The brewery has taken and restored the International Trappist membership. So basically, they're supervising it. And that's, if you look at my previous introductory video, to be classed as a Trappist brewery, you have to either be supervising or actually doing the brewing, the monks that is, and it has to be within the abbey walls. So some of these abbeys have got professional brewers in, and the monks are just overseeing and supervising, and that just does qualify them for a Trappist brewery. So that's a little bit about Le Trappe. I don't think there's anything really else on there. No, there's nothing else to say because I think I've said it all. So yeah, that's just a little bit interesting. That's Le Trappe. That's the Le Trappe beer. That's a little bit of our history. Now let's get the beer in the glass. Like I say, this is 6.5%. It's definitely carbonated. You can see that there. That yeast is rolling around. This is the blonde Le Trappe. So let's get it in the glass. Lovely looking glass as well. I'm not too sure. I think it might have a nucleation on the bottom there. You can hear the carbonation for sure. That looks absolutely amazing. Proper golden. It's forming a nice creamy head. At this stage, I'm trying to not get any of that yeast in, just so I can show you the actual beer. So that's up to the 0.25, so 250, and you can see it rolling. So it's definitely got an etching in the bottom there of the glass. I think it's got the actual authentic Trappe logo as the etching on the bottom there. But in the glass, lovely golden, blonde, clear as a bell at this stage. And you can see that rolling up. Let's see if we can get that Le Trappe sign on there as well. There you go, there's a beer in the glass. Love the fact I'm getting to know getting the aromas there, getting the history of these breweries, these Trappist breweries, and I think it just makes a bit more difference to the actual drink. What I will do, I'll get some feta cheese and give that a go with this and see if it changes any, because you do say feta cheese goes really well with a blonde or the triple beer. So I'll taste it, I'll get some feta and I'll taste it with that as well. Okay, cheers. The aroma is banana, it really is. It's got that signature, even though it's brewed in the Netherlands, Belgian yeast aromas. A little bit of clove, banana, slightly spicy, slightly sweet. It smells really good. Cheers, I'm going to taste it. Wow, that is really, it's a lot sweeter than I was expecting. In a nice way, because it's sweet at first and then it dissipates, the sweetness is gone, and then you're getting that yeast. The yeast is prominent. I'm not really getting any hops, I'm getting the yeast, and that is banana, clove, a little bit peppery. and it's quite strange because it feels quite. Let me try again. It just feels a little bit light-bodied. And it definitely is. And they say they achieve that by using candy sugar, just to reduce the heavy beer body that you get on a bigger ABV, just so it's more drinkable. That's fantastic. That's definitely working. That yeast is the main dominant character there. Definitely by far. Okay, let me go and try this with a little bit of feta and I'll be right back. So we've got some feta cheese. So I'm going to try, they say, taste, well, whatever it is you're going to eat, put that in. Start to like chew it and then take a sip of the beer. So I'm going to try that. It's quite strong, that feta. Let's try the beer with it. You know what it does do? It milds the cheese down, for sure. It totally milds it down, and it brings forward the yeast in this. I'd say that yeast character blends with the quite salty, funky taste of the feta, and it works like a perfect harmony, and it works really, really well. I don't know if you've seen my last video. I did the Tint Meadow, and that worked well with a cheese as well, but it wasn't actually the feta it worked well with. But the Tint Meadow didn't have the Belgian style yeast. Now it's a Belgian style yeast. It's that clove and that banana, the sweetness and the salty harshness of this feta is balancing, and it's really good. So that definitely does work. I would say try some feta with your Trappe Blond. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to put the rest of that bottle in, because see if it adds a little bit more flavour from the yeast that's in there. It's just made it a little bit more hazy. That head's just very, very thin head now. Actually, if anything, it's dumbed it down a little, the aroma, which is really strange. Let's try it now. The yeast character's there, but what's happened now, by adding that last bit of that yeast, it's calmed the carbonation down and made it a much smoother experience. So definitely try it both ways. Try it without the yeast, it seems to be more carbonated. Try it with the yeast, and it seems to dial back on the carbonation and makes the mouthfeel a lot more smoother. Okay, well, I think that's it. That's me done for the Trappe Blond. I will come back with the Trappe beers, but I've just, at the moment, I'm just going to work through other ones. So we will revisit the Trappe. Works well with feta. Thank you for watching. Cheers, and I'll see you on the next one.